Hey everyone, welcome to Module 2. This week we have a couple of exercises aimed at getting you comfortable with your chosen articles, and this is done through two different angles. First, you're asked to approach the article as a reader. This is about getting a good feel for what the author is doing, and it's the first step towards getting going on our big project for the course. Once you have a start on that, you're then asked to approach the article as a writer, since this is a class on writing, and your objectives are ultimately to compose two essays on the same article, offering different views of the same material, impacting two different audiences. So the first thing to be aware of is how approaching your text in these two different ways, differs. That brings up the concept of writing situation for us to talk about. When we say writing situation, what we're referring to is a kind of a sketch of important descriptors for the text. These literally situate what we think is going on in that text. Our course materials say that to situate a text, you identify its genre, purpose, subject, and audience. Now, that's one way to put it. And I think if I was going to do it, I would simplify it and say that what we're really trying to define is simply purpose. And the reason that I say that is that to fully explain purpose, you really have to address the other elements. You have to say what type of writing it is, what subject is being talked about, and who is being spoken to. What I always tell my students is purpose rules writing. So when you read critically, your big objective is to define all the aspects of purpose for the article you've selected. That means figuring out not only what it's doing, but why it is doing what it does. And that is what you're asked to do in the reading response for this week. Then, in the next exercise, you make a big pivot. Instead of thinking about what the author of your article is doing, you're asked to start defining your own writing situation for the essay you will write. To do this, you'll need to think about your writing as more than just an assigned task. You'll have to consider it as having a purpose. You are going to be saying something that others need to hear. Starting from a position where you know what kind of writing you're doing, what you intend to do, what it is about, and who you are speaking to just builds a solid foundation for you. It's meant to make things easier in the end. Now, a practical point of what you're asked to do for this course, starting with the work for this module, is that you're to think of multiple audiences to address. Now, I'll point out again, if your audience shifts, then your purpose shifts with it. Purpose links automatically to all the other features in the writing situation. Back to the task, though. Coming up with a single audience may already seem like a big ask. So I want you to see this doesn't have to be an impossible request. It's not a big deal. The simplest way to come up with two audiences is to just divide them between those who are likely to agree with what the article says and those who are likely to disagree. It can certainly be more nuanced than that, but for your project for this class, there's no reason to make it any more difficult. All right, so just start on that basis. Now, as usual, or as will become usual, if you need to talk with me, if you have any questions about what the assignments are, or if you fall behind or anything, you know how to contact me. Please do so. All right. Until next week, adios.